Welcome to another episode of Raven Conversations. I'm Joe C. Mandel, State Public Affairs Officer for the Washington National Guard. And today I'm joined by my colleague and friend, Alyson Teeter. So she is the Public Affairs Chief, or Chief of Public Affairs for the Washington Air National Guard, and that's your part-time role. You also have another part-time role. You are the VFW post, I'm going to get the number right, 3063.
That's right.
Out of Ballard. You are the commander there. And so she's going to talk about her experience with the VFW, kind of her background, and how you guys can learn more about the VFW. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I'm happy to be here and talk about the VFW and dispel some myths.
Yeah, that'd be great. We were kind of talking prior about my VFW experience, maybe a little different, and we can go into that. Real quick background on yourself.
Yeah, so I joined the Air Force in 2002. I was commissioned through the University of Washington's ROTC program, Go Dogs. And after I commissioned into the Air Force, I was stationed at Langley Air Force Base. And then I went on to Osan Air Base in South Korea. And I was a public affairs officer on active duty and also a counter-propaganda planner, which was a very interesting experience. But when I was leaving active duty, I felt like I still needed to join stay in the service, keep serving. So I decided to join the Air National Guard. I actually first looked at the Air Force Reserve because there was a reserve recruiter on on Osan Air Base. But a coworker of mine told me about the Air National Guard, and I switched to that instead.
So I always ask the question for anybody that comes on, how did you learn about the Guard?
Well, it was actually my coworker who was from the area I was moving to. So I was going from Osan Air Base. I was moving from there to the Bay Area in California. My husband was there and had a job. And my coworker who was from the Bay Area said, "Hey, did you know there's an Air Guard unit right there where you're moving to?" I had no idea.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for this guy, I would have gone on and served in the reserve. So, funny how that happens.
Probably would end up drilling 1,000 miles away from home.
Yeah.
So going through, I know you have a pretty diverse background. You've been on active duty, you've been in the Cal Guard, Air Guard, but you also worked for Senator Patty Murray as a veterans advocate, correct?
Yeah, it was constituent services. So I handled VA casework and Department of Defense casework. So those congressional inquiries would come from our office. And it was a really interesting experience working with veterans and military members who are needing extra help.
Yes, very familiar with the congressional inquiries. They often come by our desk. But not the reason we're here. It's actually to talk about the VFW. So I think the first question for those that have no clue what the VFW is, what is the VFW?
So the VFW is a service-oriented organization. They're basically advocates for veterans who have served overseas. They also allow veterans to keep serving in their communities. And also we create a space for building camaraderie among veterans. So we're a big advocacy organization, though. The VFW has around 1.5 million members, and that includes the auxiliary as well. But they have advocated for such things as the post 9/11 GI Bill, and the most recent example is the PACT Act as well, which was recently passed. So they've done a lot of good work on behalf of veterans.
Yeah. So I think one thing, I know you want to dispel some rumors, some myths, some old ideas.
Stereotypes.
Sure. The VFW. Yeah. We were kind of sharing my VFW experience. I think I've been to 2 VFW meetings in my entire life. I think I had been home a few years to that point and decided, I'll join the VFW. And first meeting, got sworn in. Second meeting, decided this is not for me because when you watch people in their 70s fighting in front of you, it's definitely not something I think anybody in a millennial or even Gen Z want to see.
Right.
And so I think this is an opportunity maybe for you to dispel some of those rumors and myths and kind of talk about the posts themselves.
Yeah, sure. And just to note, when we have our meetings, we have our opening ceremony and we say a line that says, "Leave your petty jealousies at the door." So it's really unfortunate that didn't happen in your case. And we do say that. But so the VFW I'm a part of in Ballard, I joined because I had two small children and decided to stay home with them instead of working full time. And in my time of being a stay-at-home parent, I missed community and just having a social network of people. In the city, there's a lot of people, but it's very lonely, ironically. So I did some Googling and found that there was a VFW post in Ballard, and so I joined them in around 2016 and just helped them out with their communications efforts. They found out I was a PAO, and they're like, oh, we need help with our newsletter and website. So I got wrapped into that. But it's been a really great experience because the people in my post, they know that the younger generations, the post 9/11 veterans, are the future of the VFW. And so they brought me in with open arms and were ready to take on some new ideas. And eventually I came into the commander's role of the post, and we've taken on a lot of great initiatives to activate younger members, get them involved. And so we've had some really fun events lately too.
So how did you get or be selected to be the commander? Is it like a vote that happens, or? Yeah,
we have elections every spring, and how it works in the VFW is you start at a certain position, and then naturally how it usually works is you just work your way up. So I was nominated to be the junior vice commander a few years ago, and then each year
it's kind of
slowly
moved up.
Yeah, it was just a natural progression, which is actually pretty nice. Then it isn't so stark when you're the commander. I was able to ease into the position. So
I've seen you go out in your VFW role, you talk with different groups. I know you go back to UW and talk to the ROTC kids there. What are some other ways you guys are involved in the community?
Yeah, so actually what I've been trying to do is activate our post and allow the community to come in. So we have a lot of different groups that come in and use our facility for a pretty good price. Things are expensive in Seattle, and so we offer a space for the community to come at a greatly reduced rate. So also, we've been trying to do more social events with the community in mind. Like last week, we did a paint and sip event where the community was invited to come, and it was actually absolutely free. We received a county grant. It's called the Vets Engaged Grant, and its purpose is to bring veterans and the community together because there's a very stark civil-military divide in our country. And the VFW can play a role in bringing the community and veterans together. And so it was a really neat event to see where there was just random people who saw the event on Eventbrite and walked into the post and they're like, where am I? What is this place about? And I was able to tell them about it, and we sat side by side and painted a pretty scene of a mountain. It was a surreal experience. So,
And so I think one other thing you can maybe help just myth just buster kind of thing. So VFW, Veterans of Foreign War, you have to have served in the military in a war capacity overseas. But you could still join the American Legion if you have not, correct?
Correct. And actually with the VFW, you can join if you've served a certain amount of time, even in Korea, on the Korean Peninsula. That's how I gained my eligibility as well. So there is that opportunity. But yeah, there's the American Legion. We actually have 2 American Legion posts who meet under the VFW's roof. So we provide a space for those other veterans organizations. And I firmly believe, too, we're all stronger together, working together. I've tried to partner more with our American Legion posts, but also the mission continues. They're a community-oriented veterans organization, and we have held events together to serve veterans and the community. So it's great to help each other out.
Yeah. So for those at home that, whether they're, military member, just military supporter, or just interested in general, how do they get involved, and how do they become a member or just get involved with you guys?
Yeah, well, for us specifically, the Ballard VFW, we have a website. It's at vfwseattle.org. And so you can go to our website and see what we have going on. But it's really easy to apply. We have an application online, and it actually has tick boxes for the different campaigns and medals you need to qualify. Yeah. So you turn that in with a DD-214 or just proof of eligibility. And then, you pay a small fee and you're in. So, and we need numbers too, especially to advocate for benefits for veterans. The more numbers we have, the more voices we are advocating for. So it's really important for veterans to join veteran organizations.
Yeah. Yeah. And anything else you want to add?
I just think it's so important these days, especially being online and the epidemic of loneliness. This has been talked about a lot at my post. People feeling very lonely at home and isolated. And I think joining community organizations like the VFW or just like neighborhood groups and associations, it's a great way to get to know your neighbors, make friends, feel connected, and know that you can call on others if your family lives far away. It's a great way just to network and build community, and it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a nice way to continue service after serving. So.
Exactly. Yeah, the VFW has a hashtag they like to use in social media, and it's hashtag still serving. Okay. So the VFW offers that opportunity for folks, and not just those who have served, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that if you're a family member of someone who had served overseas, you are eligible to also join the auxiliary. Okay. So that's also an opportunity for loved ones to give back and serve other veterans too, and family members.
No, that's good. We can definitely add the information in the notes about your VFW post. We could also add just in general the VFW website, which I think you can search for different posts in your area if you don't want to go all the way to Ballard, Seattle, for meetings. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to know more, put the question in the comments and make sure you subscribe to the videos. Allie, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.